Grayson. This is Grayson Strongman. Check out the pecs. Red abs.
How we doing, chat? Good morning. If you're still breathing, then there's no problems. Life is good. Problems aren't real. Everyone's making them up. Peace. The world is so peaceful in reality. Today I'm going to be researching for the next 3 hours evolution. I'm curious about evolution, so I'm going to devote the next 3 hours of my time to researching evolution. And by the end of this stream, I will make my conclusions in 3 or less points. That way, if you're too lazy and don't want to watch the entire thing because you don't care about learning, you can just skip to the end and attempt to get the knowledge that's going to be discussed today. and it's going to be good. So evolution is something that I think is proof of God. I think evolution is God. I think it's not separated. Like, how could it be separated? Evolution is the only thing that makes sense in terms of how the world has evolved. And it's not a theory, it's a fact. It's like if you put 100 humans on island 1 and 100 humans on island 2, and on one island they need to swim, and on another island they need to jump really high in order to live. Like, it's the better you can jump, the better you can get food or help the community. The islands are going to develop over generations. They're going to develop. Different kind of people are going to be pushed towards the top of the evolution. Think about it, because like females marry the males that they think could best save them. So if one island you had to jump to get food, and on the other island you had to swim, then the people who would swim will be able to get more food, provide more, they'd be richer. Boom, boom, boom. So evolution is not a theory. Like, I don't get it. How could evolution be a theory? Although that sounds, again, anything I say, right, it's just my opinion. You shouldn't even trust me. You should just, or maybe you should, I don't know. I'm the one doing the research. Who here has done the research? Darwin is stupid. How is Darwin stupid? And Darwin believed in God. Actually, wait. I think that's cap. I shouldn't say things I don't know. Yeah, but I got my little research document up here. So let's go ahead and get into this. Actually, no, let's ask ChatGPT. I hate Google. ChatGPT is where it's at. Evolution is real, but it's not randomly. It's guided. Yeah, it's guided by the principles that God set up. God set up what I'm saying is basically the world is simulated. God set the rules, and part of the rules is there's no rules. But in terms of like gravity, you can always try and overcome it. And we've figured out ways to do that, and we keep getting better. But like the principles are still there, but you can almost beat them. So that's ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, is evolution a fact or a theory? In my opinion, it's just a fact. Like if you read into it, it makes perfect sense. And if you ponder it, I guess pondering is what convinced me, ChatGPT. But you're stupid, and I dislike you. Guys, this video is for 18 plus adults only. And you're a little bitch, ChatGPT, and I'm tired of you. But tell me. Is evolution a theory or a fact? What do you think? Evolution is both a fact and a theory. What? That makes no sense. What? What's the definition of a fact? A fact is a thing that is known or proved to be true. Okay, I just looked up the definition. In a theory, okay, dude. Can you guys even see that? Theory? How is it a theory and a fact? That don't make no sense, chat. Chat, what do you guys think about something being a theory and a fact? And why does everyone think that this is against God? It seems that people think that this is against God to believe in evolution, but evolution is God. That's how the universe goes. It's crazy how designed it is. It's designed to simulate that way, though. Right? I mean, I'm just saying. Can you guys see my notes over here, or can you not even see them? Okay, evolution is both a theory. Oh wait, a fact. I wanted to look up. That doesn't even make sense. Evolution is both a fact and a theory. Look up the definition of theory. A fact is something that can be proven. The apple guy's here. No, I'm not getting lost. This is... The story of Adam and Eve is probably metaphorical. It's probably metaphorical. You can see the notes. Okay. Chat. You guys just distract me. The people who chat. Most of the people who chat are just distracting. Some are like, I don't know, man. So we're finna learn. If you're new to this stream, if you just joined in the past few seconds, let me tell you what's happening. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple here. I'm interested in evolution. And you might be like, what is that? Exactly. That's what we're researching today. Because I don't think I've ever sat down for more than maybe a few Googles of looking into what evolution is. So let's look into what evolution is and let's come up with some conclusions. And at the end, I'm going to state 3 interesting conclusions that I learned. Okay. A theory is a supposition of a system of ideas that tend to explain something, especially one based in general principles independent of the thing to be explained. What? A set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. That don't make no sense. Evolution is both a fact and a theory, and the distinction between the two is important in scientific terminology. Fact. Oh wait, ChatGPT. I didn't even read. Chat explained it too. Scientific terms have confirmed repeatedly. Okay. So when scientists refer to evolution as a fact, they are acknowledging the overwhelming evidence for the observed changes in species over time. When they refer to it as a theory, they are recognizing the explanatory framework that accounts for these observed facts. In scientific terms, a theory is not a guess or speculation, but rather the highest level of explanation supported by evidence and scientific consensus. Oh, okay. So basically, wait, that like makes sense, but this, dude, the amount of word games that exist out there, word games. So it's both a theory and a fact according to scientific terminology, because a theory is the best way of explaining something, but if it can't ever be proven, I guess it's always a theory. So basically a theory is something in scientific terms that has proven to be true in some sense, but it deals with a topic that won't ever come with a conclusion, or at least not in the near future. In scientific terms, a theory is not something that has proven to be true, but rather an explanation. Bruh. Yo, ChatGPT, chill. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna freaking read all that. Please condense down what you just said into 10 words. Theory, well-tested explanation evolves with evidence backed by science. So it's a well-tested explanation, okay? So I guess... How would evolution ever be proved? Evolution is supported by extensive evidence from multiple fields. Fossil record shows transitional forms. Comparative anatomy reveals shared traits among species. Genetic data confirms common ancestry. Observable instances of natural selection in action. Okay. Okay, well, let's look into these 4. Hey, ChatGPT, I think these 4 subjects you just picked are going to be good as a base for my research for the next few hours, as I know I'm going to find a lot of interesting things. So can you break down these 4 ideas into 4 subject matters that I'm going to split up my 90-minute session, and then after that review everything and come to a conclusion. So again, 90-minute session split up into 4 subjects, the 4 subjects you said, but give them to me in the best order, and yeah. Certainly it's just a breakdown for your 90-minute research session. Fossil record for 20 minutes, comparative anatomy For not being shared traits, basically. Okay. Genetic data observable. Okay, wait. These words are making my brain hurt. Please chill. I want like 4 simple words, like as if I'm a kid trying to research this. But I'm not a kid, but just can you explain it to me to where it's fun and simple to read and helps my brain rather than reading some observable instances of natural selection? I mean, come on, these are huge words. I'm streaming, so I'm saying these ideas out loud. Come on, chill. Boom. Look at ChatGPT. It's insane. If you guys aren't using this, you are just literally wasting your time. Because it's so much better than Google. And I mean there's other better AIs. I've just gotten pretty good at ChatGPT. And I've been using the paid version because I'm like that guy. It's like $20 a month. So worth it. But now I'm on 3.5 right now. This isn't 4.0. We got any chatters in the chat? Oh, Abu Suleiman. Theory only. Can't be proven at all unless you live millions of years to monitor it. Abu Suleiman's always pulling up. Hafsa Yasin says, what do you mean by evolution? Did we evolve from matter until becoming human? Or did we evolve into different kinds of humans with different skills and looks? Everything. I think if you can prove one evolution to another, if you can prove that if you can prove that animals diverge and become a new species from each other, if we could prove that, which I guess wait, let me write that down. If you can prove if species diverge and create a new one. Wait, you can, because cells multiply. See, this is what I'm talking about. Cells. Like cancer multiplies. All of our cells multiply. Honestly, but the only reason I believe this theory is because I've experienced it. You can literally experience this theory. You can experience this theory. If you've never wanted to know what it's like to feel like an animal. So is it a theory or a fact? We're going to split this up into 4 ideas. Oops. I'm using Notion, guys. You guys use Notion? I'm going to split this up into 4 ideas, and we're going to research this. 20 minutes apiece. Okay, can someone set a 20-minute timer? Oh, and the last 2 are 25 minutes. If you can prove a species diverged created to one, then wouldn't that prove evolution? Hell yeah, it would. So, all right, can someone set a 20-minute timer? Thank you for showing me reggae music. CCT, I got you. Yo, Drizzy, chill. CC2, much love. If you theoretically disprove it, will that influence your belief in God? Well, I know I'm not going to prove or disprove it. It's not, that's what I just determined. I just determined that, Harris, thank you for supporting this conversation and making it possible. I just determined that if evolution is a theory and a fact, Harris, so don't come at me with that attitude asking a question, all right? All right? Can someone set a 20-minute timer? Great. Grayson, I have a question. Do you mean adaptation or are you talking about evolution? Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between adaptation What is adaptation? Adaptation is when living things can change to fit their environment better. So, wait, that's literally evolution. Think about it. We are the earth. We are the earth. We are made up of the properties that the rest of the universe is made up. Are humans made of the same properties that most of the universe is made up of? Yes, humans in the universe are made up of similar fundamental properties at the most basic level. Both humans in the universe are composed of atoms. These atoms consist of... that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm talking about the elements. Because the elements, the periodic table is every element that could ever exist. It took me the entire chemistry year in the U.S. school. U.S. school system is, ain't gonna lie, pretty fire. So I had actually a pretty good... I bet you my high school... You could take college. It was literally like already college. You could take more college classes than high school classes. So it was up to you. And I remember anyway when I took chemistry, I was in like the most basic one, but it was still freaking confusing. And because I know you guys are from most of you guys are from the rest of the world, and you guys aren't rich like us Americans. You know what I mean? So got 'em. Oh wait, never mind. You guys have oil money. Frick. Alright, I'm getting distracted. Let's get back to work. Oh, but chemistry, I figured out that the elements are simply everything the universe is made up that we've broken down. Yes, the elements that make up the human body are indeed the same elements found throughout the universe. The most abundant elements in the universe are hydrogen and helium, followed by oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and others. These same elements are essential components of the human body. For example, oxygen is vital for respiration, carbon forms the backbone of organic molecules, and nitrogen is crucial for building protein. So in this sense, humans are indeed made of the same elements that compose much of the universe. What is a human broke down into percentages of elements? I'm going to move this over so you guys can see this better. Dude, I'm the best, worst streamer ever. I need to hire Ongon. Ongon, need you to be here to set this up, brother. So what are you guys thinking in the chat right now? What are y'all up to? There's not much chat going on because I turned the setting today to subscribers for the past 7 days. You must be subscribed for the past 7 days because I ain't trying to have no new guys in here. Tired of the new people talking all their schmack in the chat. Like, say it. So the subscribers, you guys are all legends. Anyone's chatting is an OG. I mean, first level OG. There's levels to OG-ness for sure. Like if we're talking Tacoverse era. If we're talking a FET era, you know what I'm saying? There's no way it's almost been 25 minutes. Oh, it has, brother. Okay. What is a human broken down into percentages of elements? Let's find this out. 65% oxygen. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying. That ChatGPT just said these 4 are what the universe is made up of. And look, it's all of a human. There's only minuscule amounts of this other calcium and phosphorus, whatever the frick that is. We're made up of oxygen. So if you break us down into elements are the periodic table. Explain what the periodic table is in the most simple terms. Yo, this is crazy. Are you guys thinking this is crazy with me? We're made up of the same thing that the universe is made up of. It's like, I guess evolution is the theory that we are the earth. Like, I mean, literally, we are designed from the earth. Like, earth somehow was able to create life. Again, this all goes back to God. It all goes back to God. But it's like God is not just the God of earth. He's the God. He's the creator of the entire universe. So there's a lot more than earth. I feel like we get really cocky and we think like we know we don't even like watch those space videos. We don't know anything. We can't even see what else is out there. Like, and granted, we know that life is rare, so we are extremely important because look at the planets around us. Look at the planets around us. They don't have any life, as far as we can tell. And if they do, it's on a minuscule level. It's not freaking humans. I mean, humans are, like, God created this simulated reality. Or it is reality. It's our reality. So it is reality. But you can't even prove that I'm real right now, especially if you've never met me. Has anyone even here even met me? I mean, real. You don't even know I exist. Okay, so we're made up of those 4 things. Oh, explain what the periodic table is in the most simple terms. The periodic table is like a big chart that shows all the different types of elements. Each element has its own special spot in the chart. It helps scientists understand how elements are related and how they behave. Okay, ChatGPT, I have something to ask you. So it appears that ChatGPT, I'm really pissed off at you right now. I need simple solutions, ChatGPT. Simple solutions. You're my slave, okay? You will do as I say. And I want you to tell me what oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, if those are the same elements that are found around Earth. Search dark matter and dark energy. The universe is full of mysteries. Ooh. Sure thing, I'm here to help. Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen are indeed the same elements found around Earth. Oxygen makes up a big part of their breathe. Give me some stats. Atomic number. No. What? Earth's crust broken down into percentages. Sure, here's a breakdown of the elemental composition of Earth's crust in terms of approximate percentages by mass. ChatGPT, please, the screen is so complex. I need simplicity, for heaven's sake. Okay, oxygen about half, silicon almost a third, aluminum around 8%. Abu Suleiman, thank you for making these conversations possible. Okay. Wait, I don't want Earth's crust. Rather, I want... the elemental breakdown of all living things on Earth. And also tell me what defines something that's alive. What is alive? What does it mean if something's alive? So here's a simplified breakdown of the elemental composition of things on Earth. Oxygen, most abundant element in living organisms, is primarily found in water and organic molecules like carbohydrates and proteins. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen. Okay, this is exactly what humans are made of. See? We're made up of the exact same things. Again, there's no way to prove this. It's just, well, it's not something to prove. It's just a fact. Like, we're made up of the same things that the leaves outside are made of. The trees, the dogs. Like, compared to the rest of the universe, we are made up of the same thing. Which already goes to show you that we must have come from the same source. So evolution, although I never thought about this until someone said it, evolution can still be true, and we didn't come from monkeys, though. But it's not we came from monkeys. It's like an endless branch. For example, when we start to colonize Mars, God willing, if humans can get off Earth before it gets destroyed, and we can go to other planets, and we live along we live that long, God willing, then we would start to adapt and become multiplanetary. Like, if humans lived on Mars for 1 million years, which that would suck. Mars looks pretty freaking lame compared to Earth. But if you lived on Mars for like 1 million years, the humans would end up being like Martians. Like, who knows? Maybe they could start, especially with technology, they could train themselves to breathe. I don't know. Well, you would need oxygen, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, we are the Earth. We are the Earth. We are the Earth. ChatGPT, I believe that we are the Earth. Meaning humans and everything on the Earth is evolved from the placement of the Earth in the universe, and therefore it evolved and came alive. And basically the Earth is one massive living home to life. Guys, this isn't about religion. No, that's the point. Your brother in Islam. I know what you're saying. You're meaning this isn't about religion, but it is. Why are we segregating religion? That's just a label. If you believe in God, then everything is from God. So science is from God. A leaf is from God. DJ Azarion, brother, please take your shahada now. I'm being death threatened now, and you can't imagine how Allah is saving me. Don't let them fool you. It's a divine reality. That dude's got to be playing. Ain't no way. Dark matter is 97% of the universe. Abo, no freaking way. Okay, I think proving or disproving evolution is basically saying we are the Earth. You're the only monkey, Brock. Hey, Sam, chill. Chat's getting angry. Dark matter is a mysterious substance that makes up a significant portion of the matter in the universe. It emits no light and does not interact with electromagnetic radiation, which means it cannot be seen directly with telescopes. Its existence is inferred from its gravitational effects of visible matter, such as stars and galaxies. Despite the name, dark matter is not the same as black holes or dark energy. While black holes are regions of space-time where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape, dark matter is a form of matter that has spread throughout the universe. Dark energy, on the other hand, is a mysterious force that has driven the accelerated expansion of the universe. Scientists are still trying to understand the nature of dark matter. It's believed to be composed of some type of non-Barnard matter, meaning it is not made of protons, neutrons, other particles in the standard model of physics. Various experiments are interesting. Okay. What defines a living thing? Cell. DJ, I swear I'm only warning you. Are you death threatening? Is this my first ever death? I think I'm receiving my first ever death threat. How does that feel? What an accomplishment. Brother, please take your shahada now. I'm being death threatened now. First death threat. But a death threat over technology means nothing. So we are the Earth. Hey ChatGPT, I'm researching evolution right now for my YouTube stream, but not just for my stream, to learn, really. What is evolution? What is the idea of evolution? What is the idea behind it? I want to learn about it and study it for the next 2 hours. So how do I break down this hours into interesting subcategories? Your brother in Islam. DJ, you are donating about $7 and you are talking about death threats? Yeah, for real. If it's a death threat, I'm expecting like a Benjamin. Introduction to evolution. Start by explaining the basic concept of evolution, how species change over time, the process of natural selection. Evidence for evolution. ChatGPT, please stop overwhelming me with so many characters, so many words. Simplicity, please. No, it's me who is being threatened, not you. May Allah guide and all of us the truth, and may Allah knows what I'm going through now. Make dua for my brothers, please. DJ, you gotta be playing, brother. Ain't no way. Thank you for supporting the conversation, though, brother. Oh, what? Okay, so what is evolution? Again, if you're just joining for the next 3 hours, I'm going to be researching evolution, and I'm going to come to some interesting conclusions and state them at the end, and we're going to learn if this is something that's evil or something that is beautiful, this belief. Because I guess at the end of the day, everything's a freaking belief. I guess even being alive is a belief. How do you really know? The only thing you know is that you're alive. So, evolution. Evolution is a contemporary meaning in biology, typically refers to the changes in proportions of biological types in a population over time. I should just read this book, honestly. Darwin, Origin of Species, PDF. Dude, look at the internet. The internet is just freaking divine. The internet is beautiful. We're becoming powerful creatures. The internet is crazy. I mean, the data that you can access at an instant. And think about it. We have to read all of this. Imagine if one day, like, I want to get... Hey, Noah McCarran, if you're watching this, brother. I want to get... Dude, if you're watching this right now and want to get on and call and discuss evolution, freaking let me know, bro. Give me a ring. Samuel N7. Well, he might not be playing considering the Islamic culture. Huh. Grayson, I never thought you would believe in something like this. What are you talking about? This is not a belief. Evolution is just how things change. It's, for example, humans have evolved to now be fat. That used to never not be a thing. Now we've evolved to the... Well, honestly, it's a devolve. So that's why it's bad. It's a devolve. But we've changed over time to... You can still survive with being, living in like a cart. Like just going around on a cart. Like... Because we have like all these complex life with money. Like you can buy things with money. So... But like no other species would be able to do that because they wouldn't have their food. But we've gotten to the point where we've devolved. But like that's an example of evolution. So it's not like a theory. It's just how things change. Change is microevolution. Exactly. Change is microevolution. Wait, what is the definition of evolution? In biology, evolution is the change in the characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on the process of natural selection. The theory of evolution is based on the idea that all species are related and gradually change over time. So all species are related. That's the idea. So, the Big Bang. If you believe in the Big Bang, don't you believe in evolution? How does Big Bang play into evolution? What? How are they not related to each other? Well, yeah, no, but the Big Bang was God. Actually, that makes sense. The Big Bang had to be God. And God is within us because we are made from God. We're made in God's image. Let there be light. This is interesting, y'all. I want to watch a video. Well, I need to answer this question. Watch this. I need to take a break because I gotta rest my voice. But you guys watch this video, and I'm gonna take a break for 7 minutes and come back. And you guys need to help me. Tell me what you learned, and tell me what notes we can take about what is evolution. I've been researching evolution for the past hour so far, guys. Did we come from monkeys? I did realize this is the wrong question to ask because monkeys and us came from something before that, like a different mammal. So it doesn't necessarily mean we came from monkeys if evolution is real. That's a dumb question. I didn't realize that until doing this research. So let me know about this video.
This episode of Stated Clearly was made possible through generous donations by Bird and Moon Comics, Proof Avenue, and contributions from individual viewers like you. Stated Clearly presents, what exactly is evolution? In biology, the theory of evolution doesn't tell us exactly how life began on Earth, but it helps us understand how life, once it came into existence, diversified into the many...
One sec.
incredible forms we see now and in the fossil record. It also helps us make sense of the way in which modern creatures continue to adapt and change today. In biology, evolution can be defined as any change in the heritable traits, those are physical traits like fur color in mice,
Let me know what this
spots on
video
the
says
wings
and what you learn, and I'll be back towards the end of it.
of butterflies, or instinctive behaviors like the way that dogs greet their friends with a sniff, within a population across generations. This definition can be a bit confusing, so let's see how it works. All healthy living things, from single-celled amoebas to flowers to dolphins, are capable of reproduction. We have children, we make copies of ourselves. We do this by duplicating our DNA and passing that DNA on to future generations. DNA is a chain-like chemical stored inside each one of your cells, which tells them how to grow and function. Your DNA contains coded information on how to build you. The information in your DNA is different than that of, say, a daffodil's DNA, which is why you look and function differently than a daffodil. The information in your DNA is slightly different than that of Elvis Presley, which is one of many reasons you don't look or act quite like he did. Single-celled amoebas and other simple creatures reproduce by copying their DNA inside their guts, moving both copies to either side of their body, splitting in two right down the middle, and then growing back to full size. If all goes well, the two new amoebas will be exact copies of each other, but in nature, things aren't always perfect. When DNA is being copied, errors can occur which modify the DNA code. This is what we call a DNA mutation. These mutations can produce variation in the body shape and function of the creature who inherits the modified DNA. In this case, our new little friend has an arm that stretches extra long. If he survives long enough to grow and reproduce, that extra stretchy arm, which is now coded for in his DNA, will be passed on to his children. Evolution. Any change in the heritable traits within a population across generations has officially occurred. Reproduction for dolphins and badgers and people is a little more complicated. We have to find ourselves a partner. When two badgers get together and, fall in love, a sperm cell from the father, which contains a copy of half of his DNA, only half, combines with the egg cell of the mother, which contains half a copy of her DNA. The result is a brand new cell with a complete set of DNA instructions, all the information needed to divide and grow up into a brand new badger. The new child matures to be similar to her parents, but also unique because she develops some traits from her mother's DNA and some from her father. Her new combination of traits can be passed on to her children, and again, evolution. Any change in the heritable traits within a population across generations has officially occurred. Besides a unique recombination of her parents' traits, she might also have developed some completely new traits of her own due to DNA mutations. Maybe extra hairy ears, for example. If she survives long enough to have kids, her DNA will combine with the DNA of her partner, and she'll pass on those extra hairy ears to at least some of her children. Again, evolution has officially occurred. So there you have it. Evolution is really pretty simple. Scientists and normal folks everywhere witness evolution happening all the time. Small changes like the ones we've seen here can add up over multiple generations to create dramatic changes. If you were to go back in time just a few thousand years, you'd find that all dogs, for example, originally evolved from an ancestral group of gray wolves. The evolution of those wolves from generation to generation was guided by humans. People were selecting wolves with the traits they liked, letting them breed, and then only keeping the puppies with the most desirable traits. As time went on, different breeders preferred dogs with different features, some selected for large size, some for small size, some for brains, others for brawn. Today, wolves have branched out into hundreds of breeds, very few of which look and behave much like their ancestors. A massive amount of observable evidence from many different fields such as genetics, chemistry, paleontology, and mathematics overwhelmingly suggests that just like all dogs share a common ancestor, all living things, me, you, pufferfish, banana trees, if you go back far enough, also share a common ancestor. We are literally related. We don't know what the first life form was or exactly how it came to be, but the simple process of reproduction with variation over billions of years looks to be responsible for all the diversity of life we see today. Now, you might be saying, wait a minute, hold on here. Isn't evolution random? To do something functional like turn a wolf into an adorable mini poodle, random evolution had to be carefully guided by an intelligent dog breeder. Researchers claim that all mammals evolved from an ancient shrew-like creature, but the difference between a shrew and an elephant is far greater than that of a wolf and a poodle. Who guided that process? Who was the breeder? In the mid-1800s, two men, Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace, independently discovered that a breeder is not necessarily needed. There is another force capable of guiding random evolution to produce order and complex function. They called it natural selection, which happens to be the entire topic of our next video. But before you move on, let's recap what we've learned so far. Biological evolution is any change in the heritable traits within a population across generations. All healthy living things can make copies of themselves, but they do so imperfectly. Small variations can add up over generations to create dramatic differences in the body form and function of living creatures. Evidence overwhelmingly suggests that all life on Earth is related. So remember, next time you invite family and friends over for a holiday feast, you're actually just inviting family. That includes the turkey and the pumpkin in the pumpkin pie. I'm John Perry, and that's evolution stated clearly. Thanks for watching our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to us if you want to see more. Stated Clearly is funded by our viewers, and we are in need of support. If you like what we do, consider contributing. You can do so by visiting our website at statedclearly.com. This episode was made possible by viewer contributions and by generous donations from Bird and Moon Comics and Proof Avenue. Make sure to check out Bird and Moon's awesome biology comic strips and posters at birdandmoon.com, and check out the musical talent of AD at proofavenue.com. Until next time, stay curious.
Time to help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Forgot my wallet.
This episode of Stated Clearly was only possible with support from our viewers and from Brain Tools LLC, a company dedicated to developing and delivering to patients new treatments for Alzheimer's. Stated Clearly presents What is natural selection? Natural selection is one of several key concepts contained within the theory of evolution. To understand exactly what natural selection is and why it's so important, let's first take a quick look at two other evolutionary concepts, descent with modification and the overarching idea of common descent. Descent with modification is the observable fact that when parents have children, those children often look and behave slightly different than their parents and slightly different than each other. They descend from their parents with modifications. The differences found in offspring are partially due to random genetic mutations. Common descent is the idea that all living things on Earth are related. They descended from a common ancestor. Through the gradual process of descent with modification over many, many generations, a single original species is thought to have given rise to all the life we see today. The common descent of all life on Earth is not a directly observable fact. We have no way of going back in time to watch it happen. Instead, common descent is a conclusion based on a massive collection of facts. Facts found independently in the study of fossils, genetics, comparative anatomy, mathematics, biochemistry,
Hey chat, I'm back. Alright, please explain to me what that video was. And what did you guys learn? Because I obviously didn't see it. I got some chicken though. It's too freaking easy. How are you guys not out there eating chicken? It was a kid show? Okay, so it was lame. Oh, frick. Okay. Looks like that video was lame. Well, that's freaking stupid. Hi. It was probably made by a formal education system. So, that video was worthless. What video can we watch about evolution then? Let's look up Darwin. That'd be interesting.
Planning for college should be exciting, not hard. We help make it easy to build the future you want. We're Texas A&M Relis, a new way to get a high-quality, affordable degree right where you want to be, in Aggieland.
It's 1859 and there was this guy named Charles Darwin. He rode on a beagle to these islands and had a little idea. Just like humans can take the variety that they saw in animals and breed horses to be faster or dogs to be more hot dog-like, given enough time, old Charlie D figured nature could do the same thing and take even the smallest, slimiest of creatures and create the biggest, most baddest of T-Rexes. Nice. But there was one doubt that he couldn't shake, a problem that threatened to undo his entire theory. Here's the story. Charles pretty well anticipated and answered most objections that were posed to his theory in the origin of species, but had some serious doubts about one in particular, the Cambrian fossils. Darwin expected very gradual change in animals and thus a smooth succession of fossils, but what the fossil showed was the opposite. There was a sudden appearance of wild new animals out of nowhere, and they remained essentially unchanged throughout the fossil record. This is a big problem. We're missing a ton of fossils. If we can't find them, it just could prove my whole theory wrong. The fossils don't agree with you, neener, neener, neener. Harvard paleontologist Louis Agassiz and other prominent naturalists wouldn't let him forget it either. Yeah, okay, you guys are right for now, but what if the fossil record is just incomplete? Don't worry, we'll totally find those fossils later. Boom, problem solved. So tons of younger naturalists, we're talking Joseph Hooker, Thomas Huxley, Ernst Haeckel, Asa Gray, they were convinced. Old coots like Agassiz just missed the boat. See you later, suckers. These Victorian naturalists didn't yet have the data or tools to explore the question much further, so they just held out hope that the fossils would turn up eventually and focus their efforts elsewhere. But that would soon change. The year's 1909 now, and along comes Charles Doolittle Walcott. He was hanging out up in Canada, digging holes, looking at rocks, when... Chuck, I think I found something. Walcott found the motherlode, an unprecedented trove of immaculately preserved Cambrian fossils. These didn't contain the precursor forms Darwin expected either. In fact, it only made the problem bigger, suggesting an even greater suddenness than Darwin even expected. Okay, so I know this looks pretty bad either. In fact, it only made the problem bigger, suggesting an even greater suddenness than Darwin even expected. Okay, so I know this looks pretty bad, but what if, get this, there really are tons of intermediate fossils, and we'll totally find those later, say, under the sea. Fantastic idea, Chuck. I'm sure it'll just sort itself out and won't be a nagging problem for decades to come. No siree. Back to work, boys. Hey Chuck, good news. We've invented these giant drills that can take samples from the sea floor. How about we finally find those pesky fossils we've been looking for? Awesome idea. Still nothing. I wonder what could be the problem. The answer wasn't under the sea either. The more they looked for the missing fossils, the more it confirmed Darwin's initial doubt. Some attempts were made to explain it, but
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and
If you remember one name in the history of modern biology, it should be two names. Because the first biologists were a pair of freaky intellectual twins, just like Newton and Leibniz, but with more barnacles and monkeys. Let's meet Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. In the early 1800s, England was already moving away from the traditional way of thinking about life, which was then called natural theology. In this belief system, the living world was created by a kindly but hands-off God, and there were 4 aspects of creation. 1, there was a divine creator, but simply believing in God didn't prevent you from asking how life works. 2, there were species that didn't change ever. This idea was known as the fixity of species. But keep in mind, the French had already worked out that species do change over time and do go extinct.
Every time this happens, I'm just like, bro, what the frick? Well, Centennial Apologetics. I'm a Christian who believes God used evolution, which means Adam had hominoid ancestors. My Opa used to say God created creation to be creative. Hey, I think Adam and Eve is a metaphor. So, yeah. Why would it not be metaphor? Like, is all this stuff, like, for example, Jesus being a prophet, maybe he really did open the eyes of the blind. Or maybe he just woke people up metaphorically. Or maybe he actually did both. Maybe that's possible. I don't know. Who am I?
They just hadn't figured out how. The third aspect of natural theology was...
I guess if I heard someone in the world today was just like touching people and healing their blindness, just like boop, I would be like, what? I wouldn't quite believe it, but why do we believe it 2,000 years ago? Because wouldn't that be the same thing? That's why he can't be God. It wouldn't make sense. Because then he could come, then there could be another God that could come. And it's just an endless cycle. Life, man. Life. You want me to speak louder? All right, fine.
A short creation in which the world was only about 6,000 years old.
I need a longer brain break, though. This streaming, I realize I can't stream for hours on end with something that's like deep, like reading. Because I'll get in talking. Like, I need to focus and take a break. So I need to take another break. Again, guys, I'm taking a break and we're going to continue to come back and learn interesting things. All right, chat. How we doing? Man, chicken is so good. And I'm gonna evolve into a chicken. Oh. Let's read this. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Struggle for Existence. Bears on natural selection, the term used in wide sense. Geometrical powers of increased or rapid increase of neutralized animals and plants. Struggle for life, most severe between individuals and varieties of the same species, often severe between species of the same genus. The relation of organism to organism, the most important of all relations. So it's like humans are most likely to die from other humans. That makes sense. Humans are most likely to die from other humans rather than like a gorilla. And gorillas are probably most likely to die by another gorilla. Because each species, each organisms are grouping with their tribe to rise to the top. And so even within the species, they have the most beef. Evolution is species fighting to survive. Amongst organic beings in a state of nature that is some individual variability. Indeed, I'm not aware that this is ever disputed. Hey ChatGPT, can you summarize Darwin's third chapter of his Origin of Species book? I want to learn about it, and you can give it to me in a pretty detailed format, but easy and fun to read. And read it so I can make an analogy to my streamers right now, the people watching me on live. Okay, here's a simplified summary in a fun, easy read format. So this is chapter 3 of Darwin's book, Origin of Species. He's the guy who realized what evolution was, or made it known to us modern humans. Although maybe we had humans before us. So he explains that the variation is essential for the process of evolution. Variation is like the spice of life. It's what makes each individual unique, and it's crucial for species to adapt to the environments over time. Without variation, there would be no evolution. How it works. Imagine a garden full of flowers. Some flowers are tall, some are short, some are red, some are blue. These differences are variations within the flower population. If the environment changes, like it gets cold or hotter, certain variations might become more advantageous. For example, tall flowers might survive better in tall grassy area where they can reach the sunlight. Over time, these advantages variations become more common in the population, leading to evolution. Darwin suggests that variation is caused by a combination of factors, including differences in genes inherited from parents and differences in the environment, like nutrition or climate. He also emphasizes that variation is essential for natural selection to work its magic. So, and it's just like you can evolve in your life. That's why evolution is not a theory. You can literally mold yourself. You can become fat or strong or fast. Your posture can change literally how tall you are in the future. That's evolution. You say the Bible doesn't say it, but the Quran literally says we all come from water. What Quran verses suggest we evolved? Some Quranic verses describe the gradual process of creation and development of life. For example, do not the believers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit of creation before we clove them asunder? See? We made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? That's not evolution. That's growth / adaptation. No, that's what evolution is. Evolution is adapting. For example, your body will adapt to you if you do push-ups. That is adapting. That's what I'm saying. It's not a theory. This is not a theory. Pretty much Earth. Yeah. It's not a theory. Don't you guys agree? What do you guys think, chat? Dang, today is really delayed. The latency is wild today. I'm not sure. I think I freaked something up. And of everything we have created pairs, that they may receive instruction. Yeah, it's talking about our composition, but it's talking about, that is our composition. And that's why water is looked for on other planets, because like they know if there's water, there could be life. Meaning, why do people who are religious think that are typically against the idea that there could be another planet out there that has living beings? But those living beings would be accustomed to their environment. It's like we have arms and legs because we're accustomed to our environment with the species that started growing here. To eat, same thing. So, this is the summary of the chapter. It's basically saying you adapt to the environment because that's what lives. So variation makes our species live. But variation also ruins some other parts. Oh, I see, Cookie. That makes sense. The Quran says we're made from clay. So that makes perfect sense. He's saying we're made. It's saying we're made of the earth. We're made of clay. We're made of the dirt. Alright, so this is Darwin's book. Let's keep reading. We see these beautiful adaptations most plainly in the woodpecker and millstone, and a little less plainly in the humblest parasite, which clings to it the hairs of a quadruped or feathers of a bird, and the structure of the beetle, which dives through the water, and the plum and seed, which is drafted by the gentlest breeze. In short, we see beautiful adaptations everywhere in every part of the organic world. Duff Funnel, thank you for supporting this conversation. Again, it may be asked, how is it that varieties which are even called infant species become ultimately converted into good and distinct species, which in most cases obviously differ from each other far than the varieties of the same species? All these results, as we shall fully see in the next chapter, fall inevitably from the struggle of life. Owing to the struggle for life, any variation, however slight, and from whatever cause proceeding, if it be in any degree profitable and an individual of any species, is infinitely complex relations to other organic beings to external nature, will tend to the preservation of that individual and will generally be inherited by its offspring. The offspring also have a better chance of surviving for of the many individuals of any species which are periodically born, but a small number can survive. Sentient apologetics. No. Sir 2130 and 2445 is not evolution. The Quran borrows from Greek cosmology. Ask ChatGPT about Thales and Anaximander about life made from water. What is Thales and Anaximander about life made from water? Tell me about that. Fundamental component of life, the verse often interpreted highlighting the significance of water in the creation of sediments of all living beings. The idea that life originated from water is also supported by scientific theories. See? Such as the theory of abogenesis, which suggests that life on Earth may have emerged from simple organic molecules in the pre-primordial oceans. Wow. Back to Darwin's book. A plant which annually produces 1,000 seeds, of which an average one only can come to maturity, may be truly said to struggle with the plants of the same and other kinds which already clothe the ground. The mistletoe is dependent on the apple and a few other trees, but can only far-fetched sense said to struggle with these trees, whereas many of these parasites grow on the same tree will languish and die, but several seedling mistletoes growing close together in the same branch. Boring. Explain to me how we came from water. I mean, when I say me, we, I mean humans. And humans invented you, little AI, little bot. So basically, your source of information better be word of God, not a human. But all things are written down by humans. I mean, like a human hand has written everything. As far as we know. I mean, like physically written. Unless, I mean, who knows though? The concept that life originated from water doesn't mean that humans evolved directly from water, but rather that water played a crucial role in the evolution of life on Earth, including humans. Here's a simplified explanation. Scientists believe that life on Earth originated from simple organic molecules in the what the heck is a primordial? These molecules formed through chemical reactions involving elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus, which were abundant on Earth's early atmosphere and oceans. Huh. Well, look how crazy this universe is. This planet that is as big as us is made up of things smaller than us. Crazy. That's so true. Life is crazy, man. Just think about it. Alright, well, let's watch the beginning of this.
Right now, you can get a free footlong at Subway. Buy any footlong in the app and get one free.
I'll be right back though. I'm gonna use the restroom. Come back.
This game, you're not ready.
Life on our planet originated in water. This assumption forms the basis of the biogenesis theory today and is practically beyond any doubt in the scientific community. It is water in its liquid state that offers the best conditions for life to originate and evolve in. However, if we were to cast our gaze around, we would see various organisms not only in oceans and rivers, but also on the planet's surface, in the soil, in the lower strata of the atmosphere, and even in the mouths of volcanoes. When and why did life break away from the hospitable ocean and move on to exploring forbidding barren land? Let's try to get to the bottom of it.
Cosmo.
The first in outer space. Up until the late Proterozoic Eon, all life on the Earth was to be found only in oceans. Throughout that prehistoric period, land on the surface of the planet would alternately be covered first by giant ice caps, then by barren lifeless expanses similar to Martian landscapes, and back again. Ediacaran, the last period in the Proterozoic, started approximately 635 million years ago and persisted for 94 million years. The Earth of the time was far from being the most hospitable place. If today's human were to experience the environment of that period, he or she would very soon pass out due to asphyxiation, as oxygen concentration in the air was twice as low back then as it is now. Landscapes of the Ediacaran period were endless deserts and rocky mountains devoid of any signs of life. Meanwhile, the coastal area of the ocean was crawling with highly unusual creatures not even remotely resembling any of today. They were mainly soft-bodied and non-motile, that is, they couldn't move around, and fed of nutritious particles in water. These organisms supposedly didn't have either muscles or a developed nervous system or a hard carapace. With practically no predators around, all these things were by the long and the short of it not yet called for. Predators emerged at the very end of the Ediacaran period, at once establishing their dominance in the prehistoric ocean, Active hunting proved to be a highly effective survival strategy, as the soft-bodied, non-motile dwellers of the ocean's bottom, unable to either escape from the enemy or put up a decent fight or even hide, were easy prey. In a way, the ocean was an endless smorgasbord for first predators, full of nutritious food right there for the taking. It is hardly surprising that most prehistoric creatures making up the menu didn't last long. Others had to adapt to deal with the new dangers. Approximately 542 million years ago, there began a period that was to greatly contribute to changing what our planet was like. Geological layers of that time are filled with fossils that used to be highly organized living creatures. These finds give grounds to suppose that the prehistoric ocean used to be teeming with creatures sporting an impressive outer skeleton or carapace. Referred to as the Cambrian explosion, the process heralded a new breakthrough in the history of evolution of life on our planet and the beginning of the Phanerozoic Eon, or the Eon of visible life. The first period of the Phanerozoic Eon is called Cambrian. It started 542 million years ago and continued for about 56 million years. Trilobites are the most well-known and widespread creatures of the time, although these creepy things are not the only ones the Cambrian is notable for. This was the period when the prey-predator system was finally established. It goes without saying that in the millions of years that followed, natural conditions would interfere with the established food chains, with some species dying out and others riding high, but the principle stayed. Predation became a potent incentive for evolution, which forced organisms to change in order to be able to deal with new threats, as well as to explore new areas so far inaccessible to predators. The Cambrian explosion produced a great many completely new forms of organization of living organisms. Many of them didn't prove to be viable and eventually vanished off the face of the earth. Others, on the other hand, brought about a great diversity of new species. For example, approximately 550–530 million years ago, tiny bottom dwellers resembling mollusks, known as hycoelers, developed a sturdy notochord going through the entire body. These creatures are believed to be some of the most ancient ancestors of today's vertebrates. Pichias came a bit later. These were not very large creatures either. They looked like lancelets, flatworms or primitive fish. Proud owners of a sturdy and flexible cord with muscles attached to it, they were able to swim by wriggling their entire body in a series of S-shaped movements. This manner of swimming proved to be quite effective and fast, which allowed early chordates to survive and evolve into higher organized species. Admittedly, almost all paleontological finds dating back to the Cambrian are those of marine dwellers, as the overwhelming majority of the living organisms of that period lived in the ocean. Some of these creatures we can see in
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you, mean everything to
Going to PetSmart is always rewarding. And when you treat your pet to a groom at the salon, you'll earn a $10 salon reward certificate for their next bath or groom. So they can look and feel their best for all the moments that matter.
anything for you.
PetSmart. Anything for pets.
fossil finds look highly peculiar and even horrifying. Anomalocaris, for example, was a giant shrimp measuring up to 60 centimeters in length. It was also one of the apex predators in the Cambrian period, and even though other finds appear rather bleak in comparison, they are proof of some really important phenomena. Among these, the most ancient fossil finds of land soils can be mentioned. They date back to around 530 million years ago, which corresponds to the Middle and Late Cambrian. Without any specific knowledge in the field, one will fail to see anything special in these ordinary-looking stones. However, these prints show that it was around this time that first primitive algae and microorganisms started to venture onto land. Later, having thrived in their lifetime, they died and decomposed, thus forming a nutritious substrate for their descendants. First colonies of microorganisms must have formed in humid and warm places on land, in shallow waters for example, or in the tidal zone of the ocean, with plenty of water and light, and with no animals around that would be keen on eating them. Young algae flourished, successfully adapting to the new conditions. Single-cell algae was soon joined by primitive fungi, which were not able to synthesize nutrients on their own, but could feed on what remained of dead weeds. 100 million years later, the symbiosis of fungi and single-cell algae produced lichens. These undemanding things were to become tip of the spear in exploring great expanses of new territories. The Ordovician period, which followed the Cambrian, began approximately 485 million years ago and continued for around 42 million years. This is when marine life was actively evolving. In the ocean, mollusks and arthropods were thriving, among the latter's eurypterids, many of which dwelt at the bottom. To get around more conveniently, these creatures used their jointed limbs. This feature would later be an indispensable asset and an important factor in adaptation to life on land. Apart from these, there evolved jawless animals similar to today's lampreys, and a bit later, there emerged cartilage fish. Meanwhile, plants slowly but surely made their way inland and away from water. First, multicellular plants emerged, which were clearly able to survive on land. They left imprints of spores and vessels that delivered water to the upper parts of the plants. Animals, on the other hand, still didn't venture out of their regular environment, although it is probable that some crustaceans did have a chance to explore coastal areas. This period ended in the Ordovician Silurian extinction event. Its causes are still not clearly defined yet, but according to the most popular theory, it was brought about by a global ice age and a fall in the level of the global ocean that followed. Be it as it may, up to 50% of all the species vanished off the face of the Earth as a result of the extinction. However, life was able to adapt to new conditions and even take it to a completely new level. Next in line was the Silurian period, which continued from 444 to 419 million years ago. This was when giant arthropods dominated the ocean, and it is then that one might come across a eurypterid measuring up to 2.5 meters in length. Fishes also thrived, among which large and swift predators over 1 meter long. Come to think of it, it is hardly surprising that some living creatures preferred to leave the ocean and try to find other, safer areas for their habitats. And so this is when first arthropods came on shore. These were prehistoric eurypterids and other crustaceans. Their tough chitinous carapace protected them from exposure to the sun and drying, as well as kept their body in shape. Their small legs allowed them to move around on hard surfaces when out of water. It is reasonable to suppose that first arthropods that ventured on land made a point of not getting too far from water. Their respiratory organs had to remain moist in order to function correctly. However, the arthropods were greatly tempted by the abundance of plant food that was there for the taking just beside the sea. The safety factor guaranteed by land was another attraction, as predators hadn't yet learned to chase their prey if the latter escaped to land. Gradually, these explorers fully adapted to the new conditions and came onto land for good, which later made for an incredible diversity of species among insects and spiders, as well as other classes of living creatures. Approximately 419 million years ago, the Devonian period began, which was the most important one in terms of land exploration. It lasted for around 60 million years. This is when rhiniophytes spread all over the planet, prehistoric vascular plants and ancestors of Equisetaceae, mosses and ferns. Reaching 3 meters in height, they densely covered all humid and warm places of the planet, mainly coastal areas of seas and the deltas of rivers flowing into them. However, neither rhiniophytes nor mosses and lichens that emerged later had a proper root system. Instead of a network of roots that would keep a plant firmly in place, they're just primitive rootstocks at best. That is why soils would quickly get washed into rivers and turn them into muddy streams and their deltas into swamps. In these humid places rich in organic matter, plants were flourishing, giving food to insects and other inhabitants of the earth of that time. Fish, in their turn, were attracted to marshy areas by the abundance of insects and their larvae. Eventually, great amounts of putrefying organic matter absorbed oxygen from the water in swamps, which affected the breathing of the creatures living there. That is why, to compensate for the lack of oxygen, fish in those waters learned to take gulps of atmospheric air. Gradually, they developed a breathing sac, allowing them to survive outside their aquatic habitat. Simultaneously, other appendages were developing. Thick stalks and trunks of plants growing in marshes offered to fish reliable shelter from larger predators. However, it was hard for them to make their way through these thickets. Thin fins were not adequate for the purpose. More powerful and muscular limbs were called for. That is how the fins of fish dwelling in marshy environments grew longer and developed additional bones that strong muscles were attached to. These were first lungfish, and in particular Sarcopterygi. Eustenopteran is a typical representative of these. Even though this strong-finned fish wasn't keen on settling on land, it was already able to breathe atmospheric air and stay out of water for certain periods. Shallow swamps would often dry out, which is why their inhabitants would have to migrate to other, more humid places favorable for life. And to do this, they naturally had to move across stretches of land. This is the way Acanthostega got about it, for example, which lived around 365 million years ago in the late Devonian. One of the first known creatures intermediate between fish and amphibians, Acanthostega had gills, scales, and a tail fin just like any other fish. At the same time, this fascinating creature sported 4 legs and a breathing sac like that of amphibians that allowed it to breathe atmospheric air. Unfortunately, Acanthostega's limbs were not strong enough to support its weight, and its thorax muscles couldn't pump oxygen for too long. That is why it stayed mostly in water, sometimes crawling from one body of water to take a dunk in another. Gradually, the ability of prehistoric Sarcopterygi to breathe atmospheric air improved. Their fins grew in power and turned into fully fledged paws. Their appearance underwent great changes. For example, Tiktaalik, a prehistoric Sarcopterygian amphibian fish that lived at around the same time as Acanthostega, had a flat head like that of a frog. Being anatomically intermediate between fish and amphibians, Tiktaalik had powerful fins that were able to prop up its body and move it across solid surfaces. In addition, this amphibian fish could breathe with both its gills and its lungs. The way its ossicle is designed is proof of Tiktaalik's ability to easily distinguish sounds both on land and in water. All these signs show that this creature spent as much time out of water as in it. In the Carboniferous period, which followed the Devonian, amphibians came onto land for good, settling in all sorts of ecological niches. In their revolutionary struggle, they developed into such animal classes as reptiles and synapsids.
Well, how we freaking doing, Chad? We are the Earth. We are the Earth. Chris asks, "Good night, brother." But how are you saying that, Chris? Like good night or like good night? Yo, in conclusion, let's summarize what we've learned today. It just makes sense. Just like in the belief of monotheism makes sense. Good night, Ali. Just like in the belief of monotheism, it makes sense. We are the Earth. What is evolution? All species are related. Species fighting to survive. It just makes sense. Evolution makes sense. We all came from one, which is the idea of monotheism. Muslim man of God. We are monotheism. I'm getting more water. We are the Earth, bruh. We freaking are the Earth. We are the world, we are the children, we are all the ones who make a better day, so let's not give up. Exactly. We are the freaking Earth. We are the freaking Earth, chat. Chat, can we get some freaking W's in the chat right now? W's. We need W's. We must be the Earth. It's the only thing that makes sense. Here are the conclusions of today that I've driven everybody. Are you ready? Why evolution is true. Because we all come from one source. That's the belief in the Big Bang. The monotheism. And then there was light. And then there was. There wasn't, and then there was. God came from one source. And everything came from there. Now, I can't explain what happened in between there, but I'm saying from the beginning to the end, from the beginning until right now, which is currently the end. We're currently at the end of the universe. But every single second we're expanding. So, every single second we're getting more, but at this current moment, at least when I had done that moment, wait, we're always expanding. That's the Big Bang. And one day it's probably going to go. And that's what the rapture is. Which is why life could end. Like humans could just die because of, not because of God necessarily. Well, yeah, no, God. God could decide to destroy Earth, so we need to get off Earth. Dude, evolution just makes freaking sense. Muslim man of God, I don't know how to call you right now, and I really don't feel like trying to set up a call. So what do you guys think? Evolution is a fact, isn't it? I just don't even know if I would say that, like, well. Dude, I don't understand how it's a theory, because we all must came from one. Evolution makes no sense, bro. No, think about it. You evolve. You can evolve it in your life. You can go from weak to strong. You can go from fat to fit. You can go from depressed to back to awake. You can go from, or you can die, and your blood wouldn't continue on. Like each race, if your race dies, your lineage dies. Your blood dies. Isn't that freaking crazy? Your brother Nizam said, that's adaptation. Brother, adaptation is evolution. You evolve, you adapt. And then your kids adapt. It's like if you're overweight, you don't want to have a child because you're going to transfer things onto them. You don't want to drink when a lady shouldn't drink alcohol, especially when she has a child, because it's poisoning the child. So it's like you become what your mother's doing and your father. I don't evolve from some kind of uncellular being. What? I came from Adam made of clay. No, yeah. Clay.
Your child needs these 3 key factors to get into an Ivy League or top 25.
It's hard to wrap your head around just how massive and complex DNA is. Almost every cell in your body has about 6 billion base pairs. These combinations of A's and T's and C's and G's
6
here.
billion?
To put that in perspective, a credit card is about 1 millimeter thick. If you stacked 6 billion credit cards in a straight line, you could go from San Francisco to past the North Pole. That's a lot of plastic though, so maybe don't. What I find fascinating though is how good DNA is at making copies of itself. As your cells are growing and replicating, your DNA is copying its genetic data into those new cells. And copying errors do happen, but still, they only happen at about 1 in 10,000 base pairs. Even then, our genetic machinery has checkpoints in place to make sure those copying errors get tossed out and don't harm us. And all that is so we can make new cells. In today's final episode of this season of Human,
Okay, boring. They freaking explain everything so freaking boring, man. I need to bring more energy to these streams, y'all. Streaming every day got me exhausted. But did we come from monkeys? I don't know. Not necessarily. Or maybe monkeys came from us. If there is a God, could he have not made us a unique creation? He could have, but we're not unique. Well, I mean, we are. Just as unique as we are, we're also way more similar than different. So we're basically made, think about it.
we're going to learn how this
Difference between evolution and adaptation. Evolution refers to the change in inheritable traits of populations of organisms over successive generations. Evolution occurs over long periods of time. See, bro, it's the same. It's like evolution is just adaptations added up. Evolution is just adaptations over time. It's just adaptations over time. So, this was interesting today, guys. This stream's gonna be wrapped up, y'all. We determined this. Evolution is just adaptations over time. You see that? Adaptations over time. That's what evolution is. So it's species don't change while adapting. No, they do. Right? Just over a long time. It has been 2 hours, but wow. I'm exhausted. I need to read books. I need to come up with a method on the stream. I need to pick a topic to dive into other than Islam. I mean, but Islam just means following God. So I've been looking into following God. And I'm going to continue, but whether or not how much I share about it, I don't know. Again, this channel is following my life, what's going on, more or less. Go to Monkey Expert stream. What is life, man? Alright, well, chat. Yeah, focusing on religion kind of gets a bit tiring, so maybe take a break from it for now. Yeah, most definitely. Alright, homies. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Much love. Good morning. Good night. Peace. I'll be back tomorrow. Friends and family, if anybody's watching this tomorrow, I'm going to do a live discussion about God. Talk about God, talk about our beliefs. Learn more about what we believe. Be there. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with people through Steve Jobs' phone. It's an incredible invention and it proves that you are real. We must never give up, and everything you give us, we take on with a smile underneath our frown. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you.